Hey guys, Roman Tressler here with Mission Forge, and today, guys, we're going to be making ourselves some shears. And the shears I'm talking about are stuff that you would need to trim like flowers or plants or something along those lines. And what are we going to be using? Some coil spring here. Now, why coil spring? Well, one, because I have a lot of it, and two, pretty easy to find in most places. So if you're a beginner or something like that, and you want to try something different, we can use this. Now, I've never made a pair of shears before, and I figured, why not? Let's try something different, huh? So, with that, guys, let me go ahead and cut some pieces out of this, and let's get started. Okay, so just so you all know, I'm all about safety. I got my Kevlar helmet, ear muffs with noise-canceling earbuds underneath them, face shield, 2 sets of eye pro, one being ballistic eye pro too, respirator, my body armor with the AR-550 plates in this middle, and some leather gloves. I didn't have a pillowcase, so hopefully I'm safe enough though. And I got some water over here to splash on some fires. So, safety first, guys. Right, John? Whew. Now let's get serious and actually forge. Alright. I probably have way too much steel for what I need. Alright, so I think the next step's going to be is we're going to go do a set down. So you're going to put the steel on the near side of the edge here, and we're going to hammer it flat. And we want to have a good set down because that's going to be the blade portion of the shears. So let's get this right. All right. So set down's going, so we're gonna keep with it.
now I gotta lengthen it a little. Alright, so now we gotta do set down one side here. Similar to tongs, actually. Remember, when you're doing set down, pull on it. Okay? We're doing half on, half off lows, just like that. We're gonna do both on the same exact side. Here we go. Now we're just going to do this a little bit more because we got to get this fairly thin. So we're gonna thin this whole thing out now, almost to like a rat's tail. We'll get it all nice and straight. Once we do that, then we'll work on the blade a little bit more. How thin should you make it? About a 1/4 inch thick, I would say. So you would have 1/4 inch gap right here, or thickness. So that should be pretty good. But we're going to start working on thinning out the whole handle now. Alright, so I'm going to pretty much square off this whole part. It's going to get squared down. And once it's squared off, then it's easier to lengthen everything, and then I'll round it up. So, woo! Got some scale right in the web of my hand there. Alright, they're kind of squared off, so I'm going to start rounding the edges here. Start by hammering on the corners. Ooh, got another skunk finger there. And what you do is you start to make it kind of octagonal, right? So you need to do it at every corner. Unfortunately, it's getting too cold. I'm going to have to stick it back in the forge. Alright, so we're going to put a point on this a little bit. Doing is we're doing it where this is on the bottom, so the point goes that way. Alright, so that's kind of how it's going to look. I guess I could have done a little bit better, but for a first one, it's not bad. So next, we're going to do thermal cycles on these and everything still. So we're going to get them both in there, get them hot, do a lot of fun jazz. But I got to try to combine two things. So we're still going to do thermal cycles on these. We're going to harden and temper the edges here, or the blade portion still. Even though there's really not a need to, because I'll explain a little bit later on how shears work. Okay, so I'm letting the two halves cool. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean them up on the grinder a little bit. Then we'll drill a little hole so that way we can put a pin through it. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get everything nice and flat and squared and whatever else. Now, the thing with shears is this. They're not necessarily like knives. They don't need to be really tapered to a point. I'm going to a little bit on one side. But, so if you imagine my hands are the scissors, okay, the shears. So, it does this, okay? The inside portions do not. They have to be flat. So you would taper the outsides. And the reason being is the way shears work isn't like a knife that cuts. It's the act of, as it closes, it will then slice paper or branches or whatever else. So if you ever look at a pair of scissors, you'll see that, actually, I got a pair here to kind of show you. So if you look at a pair of scissors here, I know it's going to be kind of hard to see, but there is no taper on the blade itself. It actually is just flat. So you got a flat, it's flat here and flat here. So as it closes, it creates a little pinch deal, and that's what causes it to cut. Shears are the same way. But we will add a taper to the outside of the blades, and that will give it a little bit more of a thinner edge, so it can potentially cut a little bit more accurate, but a little bit more efficient. All right, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes once this thing's cooled off. Okay, now just so you guys are aware, I am not happy with how these turned out. I think it's trash, but I'm going to finish it anyways. So right now I need to go ahead and drill a hole for the pin. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Now I got the hole drilled. Not quite centered where I wanted. I didn't realize this shifted. Okay, so I got the holes drilled in the blade portion, if you will. I ain't gonna lie, guys. I'm not very happy with how these came out. I think they're ugly as hell. We'd be lucky if I post this video tomorrow.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and temper these. I'll probably just do it 1 hour at about 400 degrees. Then I'll put the pin in, paint it, and find up calling, well, I got to grind down the edges, the one edge, actually. So I am not happy with how this is turning out. I think it is ugly. I could do so much better. So much better. Okay, so the two halves of the shear have been tempered, hardened and tempered. So now all I gotta go through is start the adjustments of cleaning it up and getting it, taken care of. Because like I noticed the edge of this thing here twisted a little bit. So when I probably hardened it, it did that. So now I gotta straighten it back out. Also, the holes. I forgot to mention they're 3/16 of an inch. So we have a little pin. So once I get it straightened out, and we're gonna put a bevel on the outside edge of the shears. So on the outside edge here, we're gonna put a bevel in. So that way it will cut a little bit more efficiently. It doesn't have to be sharp, it's meant to cut plants and stuff like that. So then once we do all that, get the cleanup, the bevel's put in, we'll then go ahead and pin it, just using a little piece, about an inch long, 3/16 pin. We'll probably use a torch, like a MAP gas torch or something, heat up the ends and mushroom it out, so that way it will hold it together. And then we'll go ahead and go to test, and I'll give you my take on these shears.
So I'm kind of doing a bit of a chisel grind, which is where it's tapered on one side, but I'm definitely rounding it off. It started out as a flat grind, nice and flat, but I'm kind of just rounding it off because if this is going to cut branches or something, I need something to give support behind the edge there.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to apologize about the audio. I realize it sucks. I did buy a microphone. That was the microphone that you're hearing the vast majority of it. Apparently it's not a good one. So please bear with me. Alright, well there you have it guys.
the shears here, these little scissor things. Do they work? Well, let's find out. Little thing here, and it looks like. So apparently, it works. So it works, and that's pretty cool. Also, for trimming hedges, it does work as well. I did have ones earlier, and it clips the bigger, thicker parts and the thin things fairly easily. So overall, this was a success. But let me go ahead and critique myself, because you know I am my own worst critic. So first and foremost, when starting out doing one of these projects, probably should go ahead and start forging out the handle portions first before I forge out the blade sides. It will make it so much easier, because the blade parts kept bending and all other fun jazz. So I need to forge out the handle first, get it round, and I need to make them a lot thinner. These are just too darn thick. Now, when assembling it, I should definitely make sure that, or bending it, I should say, assembling it, that this needs to close more. It's almost too uncomfortable. It's too wide. It should close a little bit more to make it more comfortable and easier to use. A couple of little things too is that when I forge this out, I need to make sure that I make it so that the blades are a little bit more symmetrical, so that way when I close it fully, it doesn't over close, if you will. That way it'll stop more appropriately. Right now it just kind of like overlaps when it closes, which I don't necessarily want it to do. It doesn't affect the operation of it, it still works. Another thing too is when I drill the holes for the actual rivet here, make sure that I probably should do one piece at a time, because this one went in nice and in the middle and straight, but it came out this side too far off to the side here and not in the middle. So that could also be affecting why it's not closing fully, or properly I should say, not fully. But overall though, guys, it still was a success. It still works. It was definitely an interesting project. So there will be another video of me making one of these. I don't know when. Maybe in a few weeks or something like that. A redemption video. But when I do it, I'll record it and post it again. So with that, guys, hopefully you found this video helpful, entertaining, enlightening, or whatever else. If you have, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, if you've got any comments or suggestions, leave them down below. And don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that bell for more notifications. With that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.